CES is all about innovation. From, well, cuddling robots to self-driving cars to weird gadgets and devices and a lot of artificial intelligence. Now, I always wanted to go to Las Vegas for CES. I never managed to realize that dream, but there's someone who's out there right now. Neil Shah of Counterpoint Research is in Las Vegas right now. Neil, thanks so much for joining us on Bloomberg Quinn. Now, I want to understand from you what CES 2018 is all about. What's the theme, and has it lived up to all the hype?
Yeah, great question. It's a very upbeat atmosphere here. More than 300,000 professionals are expected participating in the show, and the key themes this year have been putting artificial intelligence in every damn thing. So we are living. It was all about Internet of Things last year. It was all about smartphones, wearables before that. And this year we are looking at which particular device has artificial intelligence and voice UI, where you can converse with your maybe thermostat or a refrigerator or your car, or even a robot which will cuddle you to sleep.
A robot which will cuddle you to sleep. I also heard there's, well, 3D printers that can actually etch all that you want onto any, well, metal or any sort of mineral. Now interesting things happening there, obviously, Neil, at CES, but you know, it's what CES really stood for has changed. Now, everyone talks about why CES happens in Las Vegas. They say it's the only place perhaps in the United States that can house such a big convention. What, 200,000 visitors and delegates and all sorts of people participating from all the big brands from all perhaps countries, 150 countries around the world. I want to ask you a question. You've been going to CES regularly. Has this, well, the excitement died down a bit, considering how these big tech companies now look at, well, keynote flagship events in the year anyways to launch some of their big products. And over here, they're just minor tweaks or some sort of demonstrations. The theme seems to have changed.
Yeah, so earlier when consumer electronics started, it was more about consumer electronics, home appliances, as the show says. But now it has moved beyond that into lifestyle categories. Then you have the greater chunk of the show since last 2 years also has been automotive, right? So there is a lot of focus on mobility, how you can get from point A to point B seamlessly without even driving. So there are a lot of demonstrations, self-driving cars, autonomous cars. And so what has happened is the focus of the show has shifted away from just smart home or home appliances to beyond that, to mobile phones, wearables, drones, and automotive sectors. So in that sense, we are seeing a diverse crowd, but it's more of a techie and geeky crowd than compared to previous years, like 2 decades ago. Most of the crowd would be the local residents or just visiting to understand what are the latest products, gadgets. But it is now more about technology showcase, technology leadership showcase, rather than just a particular product announcement, which you used to see a few years ago.
Interesting, Neil. You know, also when it comes to some particular things that stood out for you, you obviously went to Las Vegas a couple of days ago. Has any particular stall or any particular demonstration stood out?
There's been a lot of focus, as I said, on artificial intelligence. It's basically a solution looking for a problem. Actually, consumers don't need artificial intelligence to put into the refrigerators or cars at this point. There is no problem there it's trying to solve. But if you look at, there are some applications where we are seeing a good amount of focus on computer vision. So there are, as you mentioned about 3D printing, right? So phones are getting dual cameras. We are seeing the world like our eyes see in 3 dimension. So we are seeing a lot of applications where a 3D camera, 3D computer vision camera with algorithms and artificial intelligence can actually map the 3D object, and you can edit and work on the 3D object, make it unleash your creativity skills, and then print out 3D prototypes. So I think that is going to go a long way in healthcare, as well as design and manufacturing. It's going to be revolutionary.
You know, it's interesting, Neil, that whilst there are some fantastic devices and products on display. Last year at CES, all the talk was about this company, Juicero, who actually came up with, well, internet-connected juice mixers, which was selling at around, I think, $400. They got over $120 million in funding. The company's, well, completely, the growth story seems to have become quite a horror story now for that particular company, and it's just been 1 year. So there are these, of course, this year has its fair share of weird companies doing weird things with Spartan undergarments and weird robots doing funny things. But I want to ask you something, which is a lot more important to us in India and, of course, to businesses around the world, which is about, well, the cybersecurity aspect. When you talk about cybersecurity, have you seen anything that, has there been even a conversation, any sort of chatter about cybersecurity when it comes to so much innovation at CES 2018?
Yeah, that's a very great question. Actually, in my talks recently, I visited a few component players, right, which are the big component players, which actually have solutions within the devices. So security is the elephant in the room. I would say rather dinosaur in the room, right? So if you look at these chipset vendors, they're actually trying to add secure zones and trust zones within the chipset level. So you don't have to rely on cloud level security. Basically, what the industry is trying to do is whatever, if you are unlocking your phone or unlocking your door with your face, the biometrics data will actually be stored in a secure element within your phone or a gadget. So it won't be hackable, basically. So that is the concern which most of these companies are addressing, but at very solution level and component level. The cloud level security, yes, it has become more secure over the years, but at the same time, we are also seeing a lot of hacks and sophisticated hacks happening as well. So the next security boom is going to be at device level, because intelligence is going at the edge. As I said, artificial intelligence is going within the devices, not in the cloud.
Neil, there have been some standouts from the first day, of course, at CES. This is going to go on till Friday. We hope to speak to you again, but if you talk about LG's smart kitchen demonstration and how their robot Chloe really didn't respond at the time of that presentation, or the Huawei sort of, address when the Huawei chief, actually, the consumer products chief, actually addressed everyone in the audience. I was watching the feed, and there seemed to be, a sense of disappointment as well, considering AT&T is not going to be going in for that deal with Huawei, and perhaps American consumers won't have access to those devices the way we do have access to them around the world. So there was some disappointing elements as well, things that didn't go exactly as planned.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is part and parcel of technology industry. If there are winners, there are losers as well. Yeah, it's a shame that US economy or US consumers, or rather US government, actually is becoming a roadblock for a lot of outside US companies to get into the US. While if you look at actually US economy, almost $500 billion GDP is, or what you say, imports and exports is based on coming from China. So actually, US economy is more and more dependent on Chinese goods. So just blocking out one particular brand, it's not going to anyways send a good message.
No, absolutely, Neil. Now, I'm going to leave it at that because I can go on talking to you about CES, because we're here at the Bloomberg Quinn Studios in Mumbai, but you can enjoy Vegas and everything it has to offer, and about all these blips that are happening as well. Of course, they happen in the technology world, and we must remember, and you must as well, that what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Thanks so much for joining us, Neil. Really appreciate you taking out the time to speak to us. And for all of you watching, well, that was from the first days of CES. Well, there's been hits, there have been misses. I'm going to get you all that happens at CES throughout the week on Bloomberg Quinn. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the CES Las Vegas. Welcome to Biden. And ladies and gentlemen, your first Biden.
It will be the most intelligent and intuitive electric car designed for the age of autonomous driving and shared mobility. The bike needs to feel very intuitive and easy to use. This is a product of the future.
Volocopter is at the leading edge of this technology. It's essentially a flying car. Imagine pulling out your phone, opening up a transportation app, and summoning your own personalized ride by air taxi.
I want to first tell you about our incredible new lineup for the home. Introducing exciting new technologies that will revolutionize the viewing experience.
I think I was breathless in anticipation of holding this. This is 20 pounds. This is what a high-end NVIDIA gaming notebook looks like. So this is 60 millimeters, 10 pounds, and this is 20 millimeters and 5 pounds. Okay, so before, after. This 4 times the performance of a MacBook Pro. Twice the performance of the highest performance game console. Max-Q technology. New architecture design, process engineering, design engineering, system software, thermal management, power supply design. We tuned and tweaked and optimized every little drop of power out of this thing.
E-Pilot will be fully electric and will be controlled by Toyota's autonomous chauffeur mode technology. E-Pilot will include Toyota's Guardian technologies, which will act as a safety net. It's an open, flexible platform that can be easily adapted to support a range of uses, including ride-sharing, delivery, and retail. Today, you have to travel to the store. In the future, with E-Pilot, the store will come to you.